The Square Ball Podcast.
Time to be brave now, boys, then, and put your neck on the line. Some predictions for the upcoming season. And if you're on the video version, by the way, mine is a visual prediction. I've put on my Leeds Campion t-shirt that we put out 4 summers ago. That's what I feel. So tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Is this optimism from you, Normanton?
I think we might. I think we'll go up and not in a top two. I think there's a chance that someone else has a very good season as well. I don't know who exactly, but I think we'll be top two.
Yeah, I think pretty much since, weirdly, that Blackburn defeat at the end of last season, I've convinced myself that we're going to win the league. I just think watching that, I just thought we're going to be so much better next year. But weirdly, I think that while thinking we might win fewer points, yet still get promoted, and it'd be quite comfortable. But then having voiced my optimism, I am now starting to think, well, that's not very Leedsy, is it? And maybe looking at the squad and some little gaps in it, I think it might not be as comfortable as I'm expecting or hoping, but I still think we'll go up. And if I had to put money in it, I would say we're going to win the league.
Well, you did the same as me, Rob. We didn't even have a chat about this, but you've put on a promotion champion t-shirt from last time out.
Normally you insist on Rob letting you know what he's wearing. Even on a weekend.
Well, you don't want to turn up. You don't want to turn up wearing the same outfit.
What are you wearing?
The morning photo.
Send it. No. Yeah. All right then. Do we want to extend? So finishing position is our first prediction, which we'll do, and are we all going for top?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Wow.
Would we all take, out of interest, 90 points?
Well, that's my next question. Points total. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 90 again. I reckon it'd be exactly the same, but we'll win it.
I would snap your hand off for 90.
I would as well.
Do you think we might get the same just for sort of coincidence reasons?
We'll get the same. We'll get 90, but only because we've had our feet up for the last 7 games.
Right.
Having already been promoted. Now, it's a difficult bloody league, isn't it? We probably won't have necessarily quite as good a run as we had last year because we had obviously the big block where it felt like we were never going to lose again. But overall, I think we'll end up on 90 points again.
I am going to guess 87. No logic behind that, but I do think we will probably get fewer points than last season. But we got 93 points under Bielsa, right? And we won the league by 10 points.
I was just going to look that up, so thank you for mentioning that because that's my prediction.
93 points.
Yeah, we'll do the same again as we did last time. Sorry, go on.
So yeah, I just, like I said, I think we might win fewer points, but still get promoted quite comfortably. And if you go in by like Bielsa season, 87 points will be fine.
Yeah. So you're on 87, you're on 90. I'm going to go for another stagger of 3. Yeah. I feel like just thinking about daft patterns and none of this stuff exists in real life. It doesn't mean anything. But I think getting the same points total feels fitting somehow.
You say daft patterns don't exist, but if you look at the YouTube channel from someone called Tom Numbers, you'll find there's actually quite a lot of stuff that starts to really make sense.
But no, it just feels like it's one of those things the football universe, the football gods might deliver to us, which is the same points total as before, where we beat last season's points total. If
we're not going to finish in the top 2, please just finish 15th.
Yeah.
Let's not dick around with the playoffs this season.
Yeah, floating around 8th. Like Easter, no.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd rather have a relegation battle.
Let's sell all the players in January and finish 15th.
So is this a not dicking around with the playoffs season?
You'd have to ask Angus Kinnear, but I would say so.
Well, let's hope we get the opportunity to. Not confirmed as yet, but we'll see. We'll work that one. Probably after the window's closed, presume, because it's not going to happen before the season starts now, is it?
Nope.
So finishing position, we're all saying first. Points, 87, 90, 93. Top scorer.
Matteo Joseph. 40 goals. No, he won't get 40 goals, but I think I don't know, it's pure pre-season optimism. But I think he'll start. I think he'll get chances because I think we've still got good wingers despite having lost Somerville. So I think he'll get plenty of opportunities. We've already seen him and Rutte linking up well in the pre-season. I just think it's his moment, is this.
Before the Valencia game, I was looking at odds for Pirro to finish as top championship goal scorer. I think it's interesting that people are kind of just forgotten about him almost. And especially until that Valencia game, because him and Joseph were basically scoring in every game. but everyone was just talking about Joseph. And I did slightly suspect that Farke would just go with seniority. But given Joseph started the Valencia game, it seems that he's got the shirt, which I think is a good thing. But I'm not going to write Pirro off yet. I think maybe he doesn't do much else, but he does score goals. So I'm going to go for him. I think Willie Nonso could be an interesting shout if he plays off the left, which I think is his...
If he stays.
Better, well, yeah, and that as well, which I think is... But I think left wing probably suits him better. And we saw that Somerville scored a load of goals from there last season. I think Nonso, again, at this level, he's a really good player. But I'm going to stick with Pirro.
Oh, Pirro, interesting.
Do you know who's the favourite in the odds?
Go on.
Matteo Joseph.
Right. Yeah, I think it'll be Joseph as well.
Probably just because loads of Leeds fans have chucked a load of money on him.
I think I think he might realistically get 30 or approaching it, somewhere between 25 and 30 goals.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No
30 goals
pressure.
would be mad.
If he stays fit, I can see him scoring an absolute boatload.
Yeah. Pirro is fourth favourite for the league, behind Latte Lath, who I think of an Australian accent because of that Middlesbrough bloke from Propaganda, and Josh Sargent.
Wow.
Which we know is ridiculous.
How much are you lumping on Josh Sargent?
Not a penny. Not a penny. If you go further down the list, Patrick Bamford and Ruter, both 22-1.
I want more goals from Georgie this season.
Yeah, same. Or Brendan Aronson, 40-1, if you want the big redemption story.
Right.
Probably not, though.
No, I think with...
Dan James at 50-1.
Not a bad shout, to be fair. He scored
I'd rather have money on him than Aronson.
Yeah, me too. Oh, well, strange odds, but there we go.
I was just going to say, the nice thing about Matteo Joseph being the new kid on the block, the new talking point, is it moves the narrative on from Bamford, and then people digging out Pirro for not being good enough or fast enough to replace Bamford, because you get the running of Bamford, but not necessarily the consistency with goals. Pirro, you got the goals, but you didn't get the running, and he wasn't great at pressing. And you're kind of looking for that more complete centre forward. And right now, at the top of the optimism scale, it seems like you get both with Joseph.
Yeah.
But he just moves the whole thing of the conversation along a little bit.
Yeah, and it'd be nice for both Pirro and Bamford to be able to be on the bench sometimes and not have pressure on them. Put pressure on the young kid instead. That's what I'm saying.
Just thinking about the optimism, I think, it just dawned on me, I think this is the most optimistic and most relaxed I've been going into a season for years, and I don't know if that worries me.
What about the second Bielsa season? I suppose this is
We didn't know if he was going to stay, though, did we?
But by the time it started, I guess this was the obvious parallel because it was Bristol, wasn't it? That opening day, and the previous season ended badly with a playoff defeat, obviously, and it was that first game was key because it set a marker, and it was like we watched it and we were like, I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah,
this all looks like it did last year when it was good. Pablo scored. Was it Bamford got one? I think, and it was just like. And Harrison, it was just like, yeah, this is fine. This is all going to be absolutely fine this year. There were a few ups and downs, to say the least, as that season panned out. But yeah, if we could have a statement win like that, I feel like it'd settle nerves.
There's that fear, I suppose, at the end of the first Bielsa season where, oh my God, has this been worked out? Has this now collapsed? Have we reached whatever ceiling it is that we can reach under Bielsa with these players? And will it all just go to bits next season? Probably because we didn't really, I suppose, have any data to run counter to that. Whereas now, I don't know if it feels a lot more kind of inevitable because we've got the dice still loaded hugely in our favour, despite the the difficulties of having to sell players and all that sort of stuff. We're still able to go out and buy players for 5-10 million quid, which is not something you can normally do at this level, not anymore anyway.
I think Bielsa had a track record of being very up and down as well, though, and kind of emotional. Whereas with Farke, his record just feels a bit more consistent, maybe, and reliable. Because, I remember going into Bielsa's second season and feeling very confident, but also feeling spooked by that confidence. I was like, do you just feel a lot calmer about this season, I think? But then again, you do just get in your own head and like, well, that's not very Leedsy. Like, I don't know what to believe anymore.
I'm an idiot for thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we've gone from top scorer. We've all gone Matteo Joseph on this side of the table. Rob, you've gone for Pirro. Is it a bit of an outlier there?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to be clever and I will look stupid.
We will definitely keep playing this throughout the season when Pirro doesn't score and Joseph does. Player of the year?
I think the obvious choice would be the Ampadu Rodon axis as of last season, but I'm going to go for the vibes and Georgie Rutter.
That was going to be my shout as well.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to go for Joe Rodon.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like an attacking player is more likely to be favoured And if he can just get another 5 or 6 goals to add to the fun and assists of last year, I think that might be enough.
Yeah.
I was writing in one of the match reports after one of the friendlies how we do keep hearing, and I don't disagree with it, that we need a Pablo Hernandez, we need a Pablo. But you do watch Georgie, and his passing and his chance creation is ridiculous. Like, some of it is outrageous, and he can, when he doesn't have a hernia, he can do that, and very regularly as well. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the attacking players don't have the consistency of like a Rodon or an Ampadu. But I think people love Rutter, don't they, as well? And I think if he does take the piss as much as he could, I think he could just dominate the league.
I think the thing with the Pablo character that we're after, it just felt like Pablo produced in big moments, didn't it? Particularly across that the couple of Bielsa years. It felt like whenever something needed to happen, Pablo would step up and knock one in from 20 yards or scramble one in against Swansea or whatever.
Yeah.
He just seemed to always be the man for it. And
Someone who stepped up in big moments, yeah.
maybe I suppose some people got loads last year, but how many of them were big moments? I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm probably doing him a disservice in not acknowledging big moments. But I don't know, it felt like maybe we didn't have enough of those last year. Like, Pablo probably scores the winner against Blackburn at the end of last season, and we win that game and we go up and it's all fine. So get him back.
Who is your player of the year outsider? Maybe the dark horse.
I mean, I've already said Matteo Joseph's going to get 40 goals. 25 to 30.
Well, we'll segue that question into the next one then, because I was going to ask about young player of the year. I think Joseph gets that. He'll score a load, get young player.
Yeah, it's the only.
There isn't really others, is there?
Not really.
I suppose like Rutter and Nonso are still young, but because they feel a lot more established.
Yeah.
Charlie Crew, maybe.
Yeah, if there was an injury crisis in central midfield, like, I think they think very highly of him, and he's already played for Wales, so he seems good, but it's got to be Joseph, hasn't it?
I would think so.
What, your dark horse? It's not exactly a dark horse.
No,
is when
well,
For a young player.
For young player.
All right, yeah.
I think he's pretty much guaranteed for young player.
Your outsider for me is Dan James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Could easily be, I think. Or maybe it's the end of the Firpo redemption arc. Is he?
Now there's a shout.
Because think about last season, got a lot of assists. If he finished the season Leif Davis-esque on 20-odd assists or whatever, that was a few goals.
I was going to suggest Bogle, because has he played 3 pre-season friendlies and he got assists in his first 2?
Well, a teaser for tomorrow's show with Johnny Cooper. He's got a really good stat about that, about Bogle's productivity. Okay. So that actually might be a really good shout.
Firpo's got a good song.
There is that.
That'll keep it in people's minds as well when they come to voting, because they'll be like, oh, I enjoyed singing that when he scored away at Sunderland.
The other one I thought, who I think was overlooked last season for being very good, at least when he was fit, was Pascal Strauch. I thought the first half of the season he was very good. If he could stay fit, he could have a really good season. But I think it's unlikely that he wins Player of the Year.
But this is the outsider. This is the dark horse ones. Do you want to lock those in? So I will lock in Dan James. Are you locking in Firpo?
Yeah, why not?
And
I'll go with Bogle.
And headline grabber. Thought this would be an interesting one. Well,
is that for good or bad?
Well, it could be anything, couldn't it? It's open to interpretation. Like, your obvious one is Georgie, just because he's, as you're saying, he's such fun. He's a piss taker. He'll probably do something like, he's made his little documentary. He's got some horses. He's been to Flamingo Land and talked to the sea lions. He'll do something else. He went fishing as well, didn't he? I forgot about that. Stood near a weir with a rod. What will he do?
Headline grabber. Max Verber when he leaves on deadline day. My headline grabber is Pat Bamford.
Oh, for what?
Because he always manages to get attention on himself. So I don't know what he'll do this year. Is he going to
How's he going to do
for
it?
the penalty in the last minute of the last day of the season to win his promotion? Or is he, I don't know, going to fall apart and go to the MLS? I don't know. But
yeah, that's not
go
a bad
for
shout.
Bamford.
Yeah.
I think he likes the limelight.
Yeah, I think, is Georgie too obvious, though? That's what I wonder. Do I need to be more imaginative with that?
Go completely off-piste.
All right.
I want you to name a player and an event, not on the football pitch, which has caused them to be in the headlines, and also keep yourself out of legal trouble. It's a really delicate dance I'm asking you to do.
Possibly go wrong? Levi Solicitors, help. I'm going to go with Joe Rodon. He'll be abroad
Right.
And he'll interact with somebody or something will happen when he's abroad with his brother that will result in at least regional news headlines.
When he's on Wales duty.
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm mindful of my legal responsibilities. But something will happen that will result in him being, even if it's his brother who's done it, I think he'll be implicated.
Implicated in a positive thing. Maybe they've saved someone from drowning in a swimming pool.
Yeah. On a charity drive whilst
they've helped to
abroad.
Get a whale back into the sea.
Georgie's got stuck in a rubber ring somewhere. To pull him out.
To send in the fire brigade.
He's got upside down in a rubber ring and can't right himself.
But you can't be mad at him. You just can't be mad at him.
Gets dragged out of the water. He's still smiling.
Georgie, you knew you couldn't swim. What were you going in for? I bet he's got a wild swimming style. I bet it's like he's running arms and legs all over the place.
Like a young horse standing up back his head.
Right, we've high-fived Rob out of the room. Dean is here now. And you are going to give us the following predictions, please, Dean. I think we should not tell him what we've said.
Just look at him sceptically.
Yeah, see what he says, see what madness he comes out with. So, finishing position, Dean.
Can I shock you, boys? I think we're going to win the fucking league.
Big call. That's what we all went for.
That is correct.
Is that 4 out of 4 winning
It's the
the
right
league?
answer.
Yeah.
Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 out of 4 of us saying that.
I can't wait to listen to this back in a few months and go, Jesus.
Well, we'll clip all this and we'll keep it on file, keep it to hand so we can see how stupid we were to make these bold predictions. Points total.
I said at the end of last season, when we were trudging away from Wembley, I said we're going to go up as champions on 87 points, and I'm sticking with it.
Interesting.
Exactly the same as Rob's prediction.
Yeah.
Was it?
Rob sat in that chair, said 87 points, yeah.
Maybe it's something about the chair sending me these answers.
And Michael went 90.
Mm-hmm. Exactly the same points, but winning it.
And I went for 93, which matches the Bielsa points total.
Right, you've rode back on your 138.
I feel like it might be difficult to achieve.
Fair.
Given the length of the season. I wouldn't rule it out. I'd actually genuinely wouldn't rule out 100 points if we get early momentum and keep building on it and we start to run away with it.
Yes, if we start well and then don't ever stop, don't ever drop off. Yeah, I think we could.
I know it's a bold prediction.
Yeah, it's a good one though.
But it's one I'm willing to stick with. So if we keep winning, we'll get loads of points.
Yeah, cool.
Do you like that?
That's how it works.
So top scorer?
I'm going to say Willie Nonto. If he stays, because there is still time left in the window, but I think with him being back on his natural left side, cutting in on his right, I think he will get 29 goals.
Oof. More than the 27 you set him last year as a redemption total.
I was going to say 22, and then I remembered Michael said 27, so he's still repairing a little bit from last year, so I've added 2 on for good measure.
What do we need from Brendan Aronson on redemption?
I think...
Do you think just some good contributions from the bench would be enough? Or does he need to be forcing his way into the team and getting a dozen goals?
Getting a sending off, getting an early red card in the season that's inconsequential, but he's fucking booted somebody, I think will probably go a long way to endearing him. Like some ref injustice where we all end up on his side because he's booted some championship shit house.
I think if he boots someone, it's not really an injustice, though.
Yeah, it is, though, isn't it?
Well, because if a Leeds player's done it.
Yeah. Fair
enough. Obviously, he's engaged now as well, isn't he? So
yes. Were you pleased to see that, given how miserable you are generally?
I think young love is a delightful thing, Dan, and I hope they're very happy.
You didn't sicken your mouth at all?
Well, it's a bit much in it, but you know.
I do pity, pity your wife sometimes.
It was actually fairly low key as footballer proposals go, because it was just like on the Stray in Harrogate by the looks of it, and it was just a fairly...
The photographer just happened to be walking past?
Yeah, but it wasn't like, he just had a fairly weird child's sweatshirt on, but it wasn't like there was a big scene created for it or anything.
I once did a wild poo on the Stray in Harrogate.
Wow, okay.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I was on a very long run one early morning and needed the toilet. There was no toilets, so I found a bush. And I hope that it was near the bush that I pooped in that he has proposed. Just I think it would be quite nice. Couple, and we'll get a blue plaque.
I think you could share.
I was going to say, do you know where it was exactly? Do you know which bush? Because you could go back and put a plaque there now.
I could take it, yeah.
Well, do you remember watching...
I'll just do another one and put a plaque by that.
Well, if you watch the the first iteration of Fantasy Football League, the Badil and Skinner version, that used to do Phoenix from the Flames, where they go back and reenact old football moments. We could Phoenix from the Flames it.
Yeah, sure. Michael could propose to you like the Aronsons
And
did.
you could be squatting in the background.
And I'm 3 feet away.
Just curling
one
out.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Yeah. So top scorer, Willie Gnonto. Player of the year.
I think at this point last year, I went for Willie Gnonto's Player of the Year, and then by the end of the week, he was on strike.
Right. Player of the year, I'm going for Pascal Strauch.
Oh, interesting.
I think he, so as long as he stays fit, will really make that left-sided centre-half brief his own. I can really see him bouncing forward from centre-half with the ball at his feet, spraying passes left and right. And I think he'll get 6 goals from Joe Rothwell corners. So that is my prediction, Pascal Strauch.
Yeah, I went for Rodon. Michael and Rob went for Georgie. And you've gone for Strauch. Who's your player of the year, dark horse, your outsider?
I was thinking about this on the drive-in, and I my initial thought was Joe Rothwell, because he's a little bit of unknown. He might just bring something different to it. But I changed my mind, and I've gone for Gruev. I think that if him and Ampadu play next to each other, it might give Gruev a slightly different licence. And I think he might just really get us ticking in the middle. And I think it might be something that we all grow accustomed to at Ellen Road, where Gruev is controlling a game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I went for Dan James. Michael went for Firpo. Rob went for Bogle. And you've gone for Gruev.
Rothwell isn't maybe a good shout, actually, for the outside back, because we didn't have anyone like him last year, so we might all welcome the change of an attacker, of a midfielder who goes forward.
Set piece king as well.
Indeed.
Who's your young player of the year?
I'm assuming everyone's gone Joseph here.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can really think of. So, yeah, Matteo Joseph.
And finally then, headline grabber.
This is Dan's anonymous weird category that he's brought in.
Headline grabber.
Yeah, for reasons we don't know, somebody will hit the headlines this year.
Firpo for a FA Cup 3rd round hat-trick.
Against
Crawley Town. And it's going to be left foot, right foot header.
Perfect hat-trick.
The perfect hat-trick.
That's very precise as predictions go.
If it happens, then you have to call me Nostradamus for the rest of my time with you guys.
But don't we need to lose in the FA Cup 3rd round to uphold tradition? Maybe it's a hat-trick in a 4-3 defeat.
I was going to say, hold on. It's a hat-trick in a 3-3 draw away from home. And then they beat us on penalties at Ellen Road.
Cool. Are there replays this year? I don't know.
Let's not get bogged down in details.
They keep changing it, don't they? They might be for one of the rounds or something. I can't remember.
I think they've ditched them all now.
Have they?
Yeah. So it could be a penalties defeat down there.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Cool. Sure.
Yeah. Saves us doing it in front of a full house at Ellen Road. Well, there you go. This season's predictions. We will keep them on file, and I think we should definitely keep them close to hand so we can keep revisiting them to see how this all pans out and whether these story arcs have any truth to them. So we'll catch you soon. Roll on Saturday.
Be good, probably.
The Square Ball Podcast.